Welcome to another edition of our Zoom interview here with the Daybreak Star Radio Network. I'm Harris, my radio name Dirty Harry, the program director, and I also host the afternoon show called the Traffic Jam, weekday afternoons 4 to 6 for our mighty radio station here, the Daybreak Star Radio Network. You'll be able to see this interview on our blog at daybreakstarradio.com as well as our social media. I'm joined today by Mia. Mia, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And if you could please introduce yourself and reference, please, the name of the company that you work for.
Yep. My name is Mia Klick, and I am the tribal coordinator for the Tribal Crisis Line. I work for Volunteers of America, Western Washington.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you being on board with us today and talking about these really important topics that affect a lot of people. I mean, whether it's family members, friends, relatives, neighbors. I mean, it's a very serious topic. And as a radio personality, I want to be able to share the appropriate messaging with all of our listeners in terms of how they can get involved. How can our listeners, whether they're in Washington or nationally or even internationally, Mia, how can people get involved and help out this important cause?
It just starts with just being aware, being culturally aware, and of the community that you're in, the land that you're on. If you don't know about Native history, ask. That's why we're doing all of this. We want people to know who we are, what we're doing, and why this is important. So it's important to always ask, and we will be wanting our Native communities to reach out to us so we can staff this line with Native members.
And from the role that you hold here within the organization, Mia, what's really the most important defined centerpiece in terms of the appropriate call to action? Obviously you guys could use more help with volunteers and staffing. What is it about these important causes when we talk about opioid addictions and preventing future tragedies pertaining to suicide? What else can people do? I mean, what else are you guys looking for? People that have maybe lost a family member or lost a loved one to be able to maybe share a testimonial, whether it's on video or in person, that you guys would share with your audience?
Yeah, I would absolutely love anybody to reach out to me with any stories of family members or friends that they've lost to opioid addiction and suicide. And I would absolutely share that. I would put that into my curriculum if they would be okay with that. We are kind of trying to pull trainings from anywhere and everywhere, but we would, as a Native American woman, I love storytelling. So I love when people reach out to me and give me those stories. And if they would be okay with me using those stories, I would broadcast that all throughout Washington if I could.
That's awesome.
But that's what's going to help the most. We want real life experience. We want people that have felt that trauma so they can help others through that trauma.
That's what it's about, right? It's about coming together and making a difference, and only coming together when you feel comfortable, right? I mean, and that's a whole separate conversation for people that may, need that courage to be able to come out and communicate. For all the listeners that are just tuning in right now and checking this out, if you could tell me a little bit more about your company and the other opportunities that you guys provide, for Washington State and surrounding areas.
Oh man, I wasn't prepared for that. There's so much. Volunteers of America does so much. So they do homeless prevention. They already have a crisis line that has been going for years. So that's an amazing resource. They have 211. They have food banks all throughout Washington. Right now I'm working very closely with Becky George. She is the Washington Indian Behavioral Health Hub coordinator. So if you are tribal affiliated, you can call in to Becky George and she can help you with anything and everything. It's a huge resource. I'd love to, I know you spoke with her last week, and yeah, that's a huge resource, but Volunteers America does so much, and they've been up and running for more than 75 years.
And what gave you the courage, what gave you the overall interest, Mia, to work at Volunteers of America? Like what sold you to be able to want to put that jersey on and step on that court and represent the team?
Right. Okay. Well, I never thought that I would work outside of a tribal community for tribal communities. So I heard about this job and I wanted to throw my hat in the ring and just kind of see where it took me. But once I got the job, I realized how desperately they needed a tribal member in that position to be able to bridge that gap. And every day it's hard for me. Every day it's hard for me to go to work and to read about traumas and to, in a way, relive all of that through all the trainings that I go through for my staff. I don't feel like I'm brave at all, but I'm trying every day because I know this is going to make a difference and I want to make a difference. That's all that matters. That's right? What gets me through every single day. Yeah.
That's all that matters. Do you know much about our radio station? Have you listened to the Daybreak Star Radio Network?
I have listened to it several times, yes.
And what are your thoughts of our mighty radio station that broadcasts 24/7?
No, I love it. I know I listen to it. My kids listen to it. I was like, they're indigenizing radio. Yes. Like this is something that we don't get. I didn't have this as a kid. I didn't have what I do as a kid. So I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you very much. That really means a lot. Yeah, our slogan is indigenize the airwaves. So it's been amazing to have all these artists reach out from all these different genres of, whether it's hip hop, EDM, rock, flute, drums and bass, reaching out, like sending in a song, having us, potentially play it and really give the appropriate feedback, and having artists come in here for interviews. And we're really growing. From our audience share to artists reaching out to clients coming on board. So I appreciate your feedback, and I'm glad you've had a chance to listen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm glad that we had a chance to talk today, Mia. Thank you for joining us here at the Daybreak Star Radio Network. Any last words that you would like to share? Anything in radio? We have a term called. We have two terms that we use a lot. One is called appointment setting, and one is called call to action. So appointment setting is anything coming up that you would like to mention, and call to action is the main source code, the main reason for our listeners and people that are going to watch this interview contact you guys and hopefully make a difference.
Right. Well, I would just say that if you are tribal affiliated, if you want to make a difference, if you've struggled and you want to help your community, I need people that know it so they can heal it. I feel like if you don't know our community and our trauma and how that feels every single day, you're not going to be able to heal one of us. This takes people with real life experience, not with a degree. A person with a degree is not going to fix this. Right. So I need real people, real experience, real hurt. This crisis line is really where the rubber meets the road. And I want to get going on it. And I need people behind me that are strong and willing to do the work, and willing to feel those triggers with emotionally charged phone calls that that hit close to home. So I'm excited to be serving the Native population. I've been waiting my whole life for this. I want others just like me to serve with me.
Right. I'm going to turn off record and we'll close it out. Just stay with me for 1 second, please.